Okay, great. So we have a fantastic group here assembled today to ideate and to design around this idea of electrification of Sparky. Got some great participants in the room. My name is Brent, and this is our Make It Happen session, focused on a design challenge of electrifying Sparky. So we've just spent 2 minutes individually ideating, really coming up with any word or possibility that pops into our individual brains around this idea of electrification of a being. So thanks all for spending the time to do this. So now, following this methodology of design thinking, we'd like to, of course, you may have come up with some very crazy things on your individual list. So don't feel like you have to share everything, but maybe we'll go around to each person, spend about a minute, and maybe share with us a couple of the key outliers that you came up with, things that surprised you or excited you when you wrote them down in your paper. And what we're going to look for when we're sharing these ideas, and normally if we're all together, we'd be doing these on sticky notes. What we're looking for is to move these sticky note ideas around and form them into themes. So we don't know what the themes will be until we start to really share with each other. We're all coming from very diverse backgrounds. We're coming from diverse worldviews. We're coming from diverse genders, from diverse socioeconomic backgrounds. Diversity of ideation is absolutely key. And that's one of the key tenets of design thinking and innovation. So it's fantastic that we have such a great diversity in our small group here today of both gender and cultural background and worldview. So I'm very excited to hear what all of you are saying. And while you're doing that, I just want to remind you that we have a Google Doc where comments are enabled. So if at any time you want to add something, really anywhere, if you want to comment on any section of this Google Doc that I've shared with you, please do. I'm going to be doing the same. I'm going to be making comments based on some of the ideas that you're throwing out. So any volunteers? All right, thanks, Athena. I appreciate you volunteering.
Okay, so immediately my first thoughts were onomatopoeias. So I thought of like boom, pow, zap, like just very strong actions. I thought of power, strength. If you're getting struck by lightning or electrified, you're probably immortal if you could survive that. So I wrote that down. Yeah, intense, bright. When you said electrification, I immediately thought of Sun Devil Nation because it rhymed. So that's all I wrote down. So yeah.
Those are great concepts. And so as Athena is sharing these ideas, if something sparks on your list, and pardon the pun, sparks, I get it, feel free to riff off of each other. In the music world, you know, we call riffing, or in comedic circles, you riff off of each other like improvisation. So don't feel bashful about taking something that Athena said and maybe continuing on that thread, pull that thread that she shared. I'm sorry, Athena, I was not in a good position to take notes. Do you mind, I'm going to say insert comment. I'm just going to pick a random spot in the document. Go ahead and share your list with us one more time. I'm just going to take brief notes.
Okay. I put boom, pow, zap, onomatopoeias. And then I thought of power, strength. If you're getting struck by lightning or being electrified and you could survive that, you're probably immortal. It's very intense and bright. And then I said the thing, Sun Devil Nation rhymes with electrification. So, yeah.
Great. Okay. Who's up next? Mukhtar?
Okay, some similarities I had with her. I had power. Instead of strength, I had something like energy. I had encompassing. I had light up. I had fast, then I had power to Sparky, because when you electrify something, you are making it more powerful, basically. Yeah, so that's all I had.
Great. Fantastic. I'm now starting to see some themes kind of come together. This is great. Yeah, go ahead, Minashi.
Yeah, so I just came up with very few words. It's like charge, thunder, sky, unbeatable, red. I don't know why I thought of red. And yeah, that's pretty much.
Great. Hey, listen, there's no wrong answer. You know,
Yeah.
red actually symbolizes passion, right? So actually, I see a connection between red, even though, let's be real. You know, ASU it's maroon, but red is actually the more I think as it relates to passion and intensity. That is the correct gut feeling. So, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Garrett, do you want to share? I know you've got like 100 things, so I'm trying to be the last.
I've got fire and light, electrification. I was thinking tasers and lasers, and then I got to, I don't know if we were just supposed to be doing adjectives and descriptions, but Faraday cage and Tesla coils for that really electric feel, maybe.
Sorry, can you repeat that last one?
Faraday cage and Tesla coils.
Oh, Tesla coils?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what the prior thing you said, because like I said, I'm a business major. I shouldn't even be here right now. Maybe you could actually put that as a comment somewhere in there. I'd love to make sure I've got the correct engineering spelling there.
All right.
Go ahead.
Also got flying. Yeah, that's it.
Good. It's great. All right.
So should I be able to see your comments on the Google Earth?
I just posted. Yeah, I just posted on the bottom of page 1.
Okay.
So like I said, you could really just highlight any text there.
Okay.
I just wanted I just wanted you guys all to be aware of potentially what's coming. We do anticipate hosting maybe it'll be in person. We're prepared to do it either virtually or in person this fall, but what we would call a weekend hackathon around this idea. And so before we kind of got going on that, I just wanted to really get some insights from all of you today, and also more importantly to expose you to a condensed version of a design challenge methodology, and really introduce you to this concept of design thinking and the power of getting folks together to brainstorm and to analyze those data, and to potentially come to consensus around a concept that you might want to advance over the course of a 24, 48, or in, like I was talking about with Google, a 5-day period. So it's okay, what is the problem? So the problem statement is we want to electrify Sparky. Sparky is not electric enough, physically electrified enough. Okay, how do we do that? We have no idea. We have absolutely zero idea. So step 1, let's throw any idea that comes to mind onto the table. And really what you're looking for at this stage of the process is eyebrow raises, like excitement, like, oh, wow, I didn't think about, using Tesla coils to, turn somebody into an invincible superhero that comes down from the cloud. So it's really drawing on each other's unique backgrounds, and obviously Garrett, being kind of Garrett, you said you were a
aerospace.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have insights into specific areas of electrification in the aerospace domain that maybe some of the rest of us don't have. So those kind of outliers might get us thinking in areas that we might not have originally thought. So just to double check and just to make sure that you all feel comfortable, hopefully you saw my comment posted. Oh, good. Garrett already replied to my comment. So if any of you, oh, that's the Faraday cage. That's the electrical component and could you explain to us what exactly that is?
It works in conjunction with the Tesla coils to protect whatever's inside the cage from the electricity. So Sparky could say, go inside this cage, or where it doesn't have to be like a cage by definition. It can be a suit that basically protects the individual from extremely high voltage electricity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You've got
to insert a link to a photo of that in some lab, just to mess with our heads a little bit.
Right.
You don't have to. I'm just saying what I'm imagining right now. It looks really crazy.
It is.
So yeah, no pressure on that. But so yeah, if you know, the other thing I wanted to maybe just share with you as my contribution to this brainstorming process, we had this really cool event, this capstone. It wasn't a capstone, but if you scroll down to page 2, and I'm sorry, these pages aren't numbered, but under the heading that says excitement engagements, if you click on FSH 394 fashion and wearable technology, it's kind of a cool thing that happened this past semester. You know, we haven't reached out to these folks specifically, but I thought there was a little bit more detail related to what was submitted here. But many of you may or may not know about the kind of the burgeoning realm of technology in clothing. And, you know, when you start thinking about wearables and electrification of wearables, it might send your mind in various directions. So just wanted to kind of point that out as a potential collaboration realm. Oh, good. Garrett posted a link here. Let's take a look. Oh, wow. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm looking at Garrett's image.
Yeah.
I'm not there. Should we share a screen just to make sure we're all on the same page? Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, this is amazing, Garrett. Thank you so much for contributing this, because this alone.
Yeah, no problem.
get people excited. So bringing us back to the mission, right? So we of course in a real design thinking or design sprint, we would give ourselves hours to do this segment of the activity. But just fast forwarding, you know, Garrett obviously has come with something pretty intense for the rest of us to kind of wrap our minds around. Moving on, you know, we might come to consensus around a general what if statement. And if we were to say, wow, what if related to this image that Garrett has proposed, if we could juxtapose Sparky's likeness over this particular suit, all of you imagine what would this potentially look like on the 50-yard line of Sun Devil Stadium before a game. I mean, that might be pretty crazy. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, Garrett, but you may have just won this challenge. Just probably cancel it right now. So now the job is very akin to what Mukhtar has got in front of him as a product developer, right? So if you have this idea of a solar panel that is going to run a generator in a much more efficient and sustainable and quiet way, much like we have this hypothesis that we might be able to use this crazy suit that Garrett knows about to solve for X in this domain. Now the question is, it's a twofold question. It's, can we build it? And I would say more importantly, should we build it, right? So it's a twofold question. Is it technically possible to produce what our imagination is rendering? But we also, as innovators in this day and age, have to be equally concerned about the business use case or the societal or the economic use case of producing this technology. So in Mukhtar's case, this is a solar powered engine. In our case for Sparky, it's this crazy suit that might, I don't know, Garrett, do you know how much these suits run, like to produce that setup on the 50-yard line?
Yeah, the suit is basically chainmail.
Okay,
So that should be fine, but the Tesla coils themselves would be pretty expensive, but there is a company in Texas that makes ones that size. So I can look into that link. I forgot what they're called. But...
Oh, no pressure. I'm just saying the point we have to really be concerned about here with as innovators is this is potentially a really interesting hypothesized solution. But how do we absolutely make sure that we're building the correct solution for the most important client? And who do you suppose the most important client is in this scenario? Just take a guess.
Brian.
Brian, yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, but that's just a guess. That's just a guess. Who else? Who else would be affected by the production of this innovation?
ASU.
Yeah.
Students at the game.
The Sun Devil community.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. So I agree on all fronts. That's exactly right. So as innovators, how might we go about collecting data to support, and again, this is assuming fast forwarding through the process that us as a team, we collectively decided, hey, this would be really cool if we could get this company in Texas to bring it to sell us a couple of Tesla coils and to turn Sparky's suit into chainmail. What would be the reaction from a Sun Devil Nation perspective? How would we go about collecting those data?
I think through programs like this, having students having brainstorming sessions like this.
Oh, very good. Are you just giving me an ego boost or what? That's good. Yeah. So we might call this like a mini, like a mini design review group or a mini innovation group. Companies might also call this a focus group because there's, a smaller number of us kind of focused in on the problem statement, the proposed solution. Fast food places do focus groups all the time where they bring you into their secret test kitchen and feed you the next version of the Big Mac and kind of get your reaction. Yeah, exactly. What else? How else might we collect good data?
I feel like the MU is a good spot. Booths set up there are always talking to students about something, and I feel like that could be a good place to hear input. I mean, maybe not in this current era where no one's on campus, but a poll in that case.
Great. Yeah. Okay, you said something very interesting there, Garrett, that I want to touch on. But before we touch on that, any other ideas? And I will say, as a researcher, many of you haven't done full-blown research yet, but there's something in the realm of research called a P-value or significance value. And so the higher, and you're hearing about this now a lot with COVID, the higher the N or the higher number of data points, the more statistically valid your data becomes, right? So let me just put that out there as a teaser. The more input we're able to gather, the better, right? Okay, go ahead, Athena.
Okay, so I thought that we were doing this like in the video, like we were gonna animate him to be electrified, but is this like the actual mascot on the actual field? That's awesome.
I don't want to answer that definitively. But based on this donor's willingness to go big.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I think it would be best to show people kind of like first an animated video just of like the idea and like, what if you saw that in real life? I'm sure people would like to answer that question. Like if they have something that they're shown, like an initial product.
Great. And Mukhtar had to step away. Thank you for that, Athena and Garrett and Minashi. So basically you're all correct. What the typical answer is when that is proposed at this stage of the innovation process is generally innovators are keen to send out a survey in their pajamas, right? It's 2:00 in the morning. I've got to collect a bunch of data. Let me throw together a survey or a poll. Garrett said poll, and I'm glad, Garrett, you did say that. I'm just going to throw this out there and see what I get. So I want to caution all of you, in the world of innovation, the world of research, be very careful about leveraging surveys and questionnaires and polls, because the first challenge there is, unless you've been trained in psychology, most interviewers through a questionnaire or poll are going to write leading questions so that they're asking a question in a survey that yields the response that they really want to hear. So in this case, it might be, yes, how do I write this question so that a lot of people back me up on this and say yes? The holy grail of innovation is qualitative data. And the best kind of qualitative data, so there's quantitative data, that's numbers like survey data and poll data. And then there's qualitative data, which generally come from focus groups, face-to-face conversations, display tables like Garrett was talking about. And I think it was Minashi or Mukhtar, I apologize, that said, hey, focus groups or get people together in a setting like this to have a very human conversation. Those are the best types of data we as innovators can collect. And really what we're looking to get out of those in-person conversations or Zoom conversations, or even, any type of kind of face-to-face is insight. And we're looking for human reaction to a particular hypothesis or a problem statement. So at this stage of the game, we'd want to fan out. And we as innovators would want to collect as many conversations about this proposed problem statement and maybe this proposed or other proposed solutions, and really get a lot of anecdotal or kind of quotable data to support our ideas. So, and by the way, in going through that process, you might be surprised in talking to people in front of the MU or having focus groups, or literally just going around to your circle of friends within your apartment complex or your student organization, that people might present something totally surprising to you that you would have never expected them to say. And that's the holy grail of innovation. They are providing more data back into the top of the funnel of the ideation process that could then be brought back to the team for further analysis and for further thought about integration into the feature set of this chainmail suit or this crazy idea that Garrett has brought to the table. So I know we're just about out of time. So I really appreciate the opportunity to present this kind of innovation methodology, loosely called design thinking, and also leveraging the power of what we call customer development rather than product development, to share that with all of you, especially those of you that are thinking about doing this inside of a large organization, whether it's a design firm or an engineering firm. These are the types of methodologies, if you open up the aperture to how do we get more data input into the system, the end result will ultimately be better. So Garrett, you as an engineer especially the number one answer, or the number one question that most engineers ask is, can we build it? And what I'm challenging all of you to also ask is, should we build it? AKA, what are the exact features that the crowd and Brian, the donor, really would value seeing in real life? So that's the process. Assuming we come up with some really cool stuff, and I would invite you all to take part in this design challenge when it's advertised. Hopefully this coming fall, if Brian writes the big check. The proposal has been submitted. And if it is, I think actually you all have a leg up over the competition. I think the winning team is going to get somewhere like $20,000 or $30,000 to actually build this crazy electrified solution. So really, we're looking for a lot of designers, a lot of humanitarians, a lot of folks that care about excitement in society to get involved with this. So we'll keep you posted. Any questions, comments, insights, further ideas? If you have further ideas beyond the Zoom call, please do. You'll have infinite access to this Google Doc. So really encourage you to continue to throw ideas out there. So I'll stop and open it up if anybody wants to say anything or reflect or share. I hear crickets or birds, one of the two. Good. All right, Garrett.
We're good then.
Yeah, thanks, Garrett. Really appreciate your contributions. Thanks for coming. And I will tell you guys, this is not a traditional make it happen. Well, I guess there is no traditional make it happen. This is a more kind of active learning active learning make it happen. For other make it happens you might consider this summer or during the school year, generally it's about a 20-minute presentation and then a 20-minute Q&A along with introductions. So it gives a chance for everybody to meet each other, but also hear from a thought leader in the realm of innovation. So if you felt uncomfortable at any point today, just know that this isn't the norm for Make It Happen as well. So. Well, thanks, Garrett, and thanks, Athena. Unless you had anything you wanted to add, please feel free. Minashi, feel free to chime in.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Glad you could make us join us on video. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. It was engaging, not like traditional, just hearing the presentation. Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, great. Well, even if future presenters do have slides, the goal is to keep those engaging as well. So very short, no more than 20 minutes. So I'm glad you came and I appreciate those kind words. So we'll keep it rolling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have a great rest of the day. Happy weekend. Be safe out there.
You too.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Go Devils.